What up, athletes? Woo! All right, I know I am gone today, unless you guys are absent, QT, sick, or whatever you are. Maybe you're watching this at a later date, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that are here in class, I'm gone today. For those of you outside of class, hello, I've missed you. And we're going to go over the Mod 1 team test. This is going to be something I do every time we take a test. You'll spend the first day like you did yesterday, working on this test to the best of your abilities. Me not answering questions because I want you to figure out what you can figure out yourself, then as a group. And then today I'm going to go through each and every question. So let's get on with this. Select all the verbal expressions that represent 10/3 plus 4/9. Well, the quotient of 4 and 9, that would be 4 divided by 9. Are we doing that? No. So that's not going to work. 10 divided by 3, well, that's, fraction bar does mean divided by. Plus 4 times 9. Boom, plus 4 times 9. So this one works. 10 divided by 3, that sounds nice. Plus the product of means group the next things, and product means multiply. 4 and 9, that works. The quotient of 10 and 3, well, that's 10 divided by 3. A quotient is an answer to a division problem. So the quotient of this, we're saying I want to divide 10 and 3. Increased by means plus the product of 4 and 9. Again, product of 4 and 9 is multiplying. That works. The product of 10 and 3, well, we're not multiplying 10 and 3, so that doesn't work. So it's these middle three answers. Awesome? Okay, this next one right here, wow, that can look really confusing unless we fill it in. So let's fill it in. I'm going to have -3. I need to make this little thing go down. Boosh, right there, it's out. -3. Now I'm going to do a big parenthesis right here because I'm going to do a smaller one when I fill in the letters. What does it say? A equals 4. Boom. Plus 4 times, what does my B equal? B equals 2. Boom. Boom. All of that cubed all over 2 times, what's my C value? My C value is 3. Do you see how I just keep going back and filling it in? And I always put it in parentheses because a number next, remember, a coefficient in front of a variable is multiply, and a number next to a parenthesis also means multiply. So that helps me out there. Put less confusing stuff in there. And I should be doing -1. Okay, now we're going to do PEMDAS, right? Okay, you can sort of see that. So parentheses first, and I'm going to look inside of there, and I have 2 sets of multiplications, so let's go left to right. So -3 times 4, I'm going to get, I got to scoot this up, don't I? Awesome. It's going to equal -12 plus, I can go ahead and do this multiplication because they're separated by a plus sign, so I'm going to do them at the same time. You don't have to, but I am. 8 and all that cubed all over. What, again, we're on the bottom here, and this is separated, so what's 2 times 3? It's 6 -1. Awesome. Again, I'm going to do parentheses. But keep in mind, when we have an entire group underneath instead of a fraction bar, that's kind of like they're in parentheses, almost like that. So I'm going to evaluate both sides. So -12 plus 8 is going to give me -4 cubed. All over 6 minus 1 is 5. Now, -4 cubed, what does that mean? That means -4 times -4 times -4. Well, 2 negatives make a positive, but 3 bring us back to negative. All over 5. So what is that going to equal? Well, I know it's negative over 5, and 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. I'm going to leave my answer like that, exact. You're welcome to divide it out. You don't have to. I don't know, what does it come out to? -12.8, I think. Or you can leave it as a mixed fraction. Although I hate mixed fractions. I recommend don't do that, but that's on you. All right, so here's how we would solve it. Boom, let's go on to our next one. So it's kind of a long one, so we're going to look at it. Molly has been collecting cans for a fundraiser. She needs to add up the number of cans she received at the last few stops to determine how many she has so far. And it tells us the cost of them and all that. Molly used these steps to determine the total number of cans. So we don't really need to look at that list. We're just going to look at the list. 27 plus 68 plus 32 plus 93. And then what happened? Well, she moved things, 27 plus 93 and 68 plus 32. Then she grouped them, added them, and solved. So let's, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whoa. I get used to those 2-finger button presses. So what are we learning right here? It says Molly collected 220 cans. In step 2, Molly used the blank property. And if you look down here, blank 1 has commutative, associative, and inverse. Blank 2 will have the commutative, associative, and distributive. So let's look. In step 2, what did she do to change the order around? Well, if she moved it, that's like commuting. That is the commutative property. Like when you commute, you go to work, you go to school, you commute, you move somewhere. In step 3, what does she do? Well, now she grouped them. She associated certain numbers with each other. And I see why, because 27 plus 93, the 7 and the 3 will make, will bring 93 up to 100, and then just 120. In the same way, the 2 brings that to 70, add 30 is 100. So it makes it a lot easier to group them this way. And when we group, that's called associative. Boom. So just know your properties. We talked about them pretty extensively a week or so ago. All right, and because this was such a long problem, that's all there is on this page. So this team test looked really long, but it really wasn't. Let's go back up to the top. If you didn't notice it, these blank 1 options, these are just telling you what you would fill the blank in with, okay? Here, I'm going to move my little picture-in-picture so you see better. Fill in the blanks. All right. Oh, another property we're looking at. 15 plus 3 equals 8 plus 10. And 8 plus 10 equals, well, what are we going to choose? What is 8 plus 10? 8 plus 10 is 18. Then what do we know? Then I can say 15 plus 3 equals, oh, it already had the plus 3. Got to pay attention. 15 plus 3 equals 18. So I just chose the 18 from the first one. I chose the 15 from the second one. Now, what property is that? It's not symmetrical, and it's not substitution. We're not just subbing in. What we're doing is it's called the transitive property. It's that whole thing, if A equals C, or A equals B and B equals C, then A must also equal C, right? And that's what we're using as the transitive. Again, know your properties. We use them a lot in proofs in the future. Okay, this next one. Again, please don't lock up when you see fractions. This is just a test on the distributive properties, really what it is. So I have 3.5 times 14. How else can I rewrite it and evaluate it? Well, is it the same as 3.5 times 20 minus 4? Well, 20 minus 4 is 16, so that's not the same. That's, boom, that's gone. Can I split up the 3.5? Is 3 plus a half 3.5? Yeah, so I have 3 times 14 plus a half times 14. Boom, that's the same. 3.5 times 8 plus 6. What's 8 plus 6? We do that first because it's in parentheses. That's 14. Same thing. 3 minus a half. Well, 3 minus a half is 2.5. That's not the same. What about 3.5 times 10 plus 3.5 times 4? Well, yeah, that's just splitting up 14 into 10 and 4. That's fine. So that is also a choice. Awesome. Which expression is equivalent to 6x squared minus 9x minus 24 times 2/3? I'm going to rewrite this. So again, I always tell you if it's over there, I like to put it over here, 2/3. And I'm going to distribute that. So that means I multiply it times each thing inside of here. So I'm going to have 2/3 times 6x squared minus 2/3, and I can put that in parentheses if that helps, 2/3 times 9x minus 2/3 times 24. Here's the deal. I can write every one of these as over 1, right? I can move my picture back up. Oh, the moving Tim head. And I cancel out. 3 goes in 3 once, goes into 6 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm left with 4x squared. This is a minus, so I'm going to say minus. Again, 3 goes into 3 once, goes into 9 3 times. 2 times 3 is 6x. 6x. Minus, again, 3 goes into 3 once, goes into 24 8 times. 8 times. 2 times 8 is 16. 16. So let's find out. I have 4x squared minus 6x minus 6. Boom, it's right off the bat. This one had a plus, that wouldn't have worked. These two are 6x squared, so they're no bueno. Okay? Awesome. That's how we do this. Distribute. It's awesome. And we have our last one right here. We're going to talk about painting class. What does it say up here? It says 5 friends plan to attend a painting class and will buy lunch there. 5 friends are buying lunch. All right. So they're going to get painting and lunch. Think about that for a second. So how many friends are going? 5 total friends are going, and we're multiplying that times the cost of class plus the cost of lunch, which is $10. Which is, by the way, in blank option we chose 5 and we chose 10. Can be used to determine that the total cost for all 5 friends is, well, what's 12 plus 10? That's 22. 5 times 22 is what? I'm going to say 110. So option 3. Okay, now these would be multiple or drop-down boxes most likely inside of Canvas. But here we go. Awesome. This one can look a little confusing, but don't stress out on it. It actually works out quite nicely. Okay, what is the value of 2 to the 4th plus 1/4 times the absolute value of 9x plus 2 when x equals -2? Well, let's rewrite it. I'm going to have 2 to the 4th plus 1/4 times the absolute value of 9. And again, instead of x, I'm going to write -2 plus 2, absolute value. All right, we do parentheses first. Remember, absolute value serves as a parenthesis, right, with an operation. But at the same time, this is separated, this exponent is separated by a plus sign. So I'm going to do this exponent as well. What's 2 to the 4th? It is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, 2 to the 4th, right? It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So I've got 16 plus 1/4 times, well, inside the parenthesis, what are we going to do first? Multiplication. So -18 plus 2. And what is -18 plus 2? I'm going to kind of do this. Here's what I like to do. I like to just kind of circle and say -18 plus 2 is -16. Remember, part of your war, it's a war because they're opposite, and 18 wins by 16, so it's a -16. But what is the absolute value of 16? Well, that's going to be positive 16. So let's go up here now. I'm going to have 16 plus 1/4, and I'm going to change this to regular parentheses because we made it positive 16. Now let's do the multiplication. I can write this over 1. Can anything cross cancel? Yeah. 4 goes into 4 once, and 4 goes into 16 4 times. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm left with 16 plus 4 equals 20. Boom! Which is right here. Sweet sauce. Awesome. Remember, you can pause this at any time. If I move a little quick, you can always pause. Play again. Our last one here is going to take some thought. This is where we talked about modeling and accuracy and all that stuff. So a couple of things are going to happen right here. We've got to use our problem-solving skills because the math alone will not get us the answer. Sorry, I got to grab. My mouth's getting dry. Got to grab a quick drink. It's Coke with coffee. Who knew that was going to be a thing? And it's delicious. Not saying I recommend it. Just saying. All right. No, I'm not sponsored by Coke. So it says Levant is making a playlist for an upcoming trip. The average length of a song on his digital music player is 3 minutes and 56 seconds. If he expects the flight to last about 2.5 hours, how many songs should Levant put on the playlist? Wow. We have a couple of like unit changes, and then it's kind of a pain, right? It's really specific. 3 hours and 56 seconds is the average length of a song. I'm going to change that to 4 minutes. I don't really care about the extra 4 seconds. We're not going to be that technical about this, okay? And you'll see that in the answer, too. 2.5 hours, so I need to change that to minutes. So each hour is worth 60 minutes, so I'm going to need 2.5 times 60, right, to turn this into minutes. And what's 2.5 times 60? Well, let's see, 2 times 60. Let's use our distribution, right? 2 times 60 is 120. Half of 60 is 30, so add them together, I get 150 minutes is the flight time. Okay? This is flight. Move this to the side so y'all can see. Flight. All right. So let's take 150 minutes and divide it by 4. Now, here's what I want to show you. You guys cannot use your phones on the test. I let you use them in class for calculator, but on the test, what you can do is keep a second window that has Desmos. Now, that's the only second window. I'm going to have, I will walk around and make sure there's only 2 windows open. So I just want 2 tabs. 1 tab with your Canvas, 1 tab with this. And when you get to Desmos, you're going to click in the graphing calculator, then click this. We're just going to do, unless there's one on the test itself. I don't know, actually. I haven't given a test in this yet, so we'll find out. So I'm going to do divided by 4 equals, oh, is it not supposed to put equals? Sorry, it just equals. I forget it equals automatically. 37.5. 37.5. So let's go back to our regularly scheduled program. And I want you guys to look at this. It's 37.5, which is one of the choices, but don't be fooled into getting that, because that was an estimation. And then let's think about it. Can I do 37.5 songs? No. And I even estimated up, so really I could probably go up to 38 at the very least. But what's the closest one besides 37.5 that's an actual song total that we can download? Well, 40. So we have to problem solve there, because we're not down. It's not like you're going to play half song and be like, oh, never mind, boom, I'm out. I'm sorry. Half song downloaded, I'm done. I only want to hear half of that. No, we're going to overestimate a little bit, and we're going to go to 40. So if we download 40 songs, we should be guaranteed to make it through the whole flight. 37.5, not only can we not download half song, but like we did up the 4 seconds there, right? So we're estimating a little bit. So this is part of modeling and accuracy that you have to be able to do, and it's part of problem solving. So there we go. That's the team test. I recommend this as your best place for notes, as well as looking at old homework problems. So tomorrow you're going to have a test. Let me see. I'm looking at it right here. How many questions? Not tomorrow. Next Tuesday you're going to have a test. And it's got 10 questions. This was 9 questions. It has 10 questions. You can use 1 full side of 1 page of notes. No, you cannot use this. What you can do is hand copy any part of this you want onto a page of notes. And believe me, if you write small, it does have to be 8.5 by 11. I've had some loophole people, and if you come in with a bigger paper, I make you. I usually take a ruler. I'll ruler it out, and I'll cut out 8.5 and 11. And I'll say, there you go. Only 1 side of 1 page of notes, but that's still a pretty big give. Have a great weekend. Get your stuff done. Get old homework in, and get prepared for the test. Peace out.